What I have today is a copycat Taco Bell meat recipe. The little packets that you get from the store that you put the seasoning in, to me, they just fell short. Um, they had all of them had the same type of taste. Like there was something I didn't like about it. So many years ago, I went searching for a recipe to kind of mimic what the Taco Bell meat tastes like. Now, of course, this doesn't taste identical, but it is delicious, and it is really not as hard to make, any harder than the packets that you would buy. All right, so let's just start with our ingredients first. All right, so first we will have, you're going to start with your ground beef and some flour. So there's a texture that Taco Bell meat has, and that's what this is trying to mimic, is the texture that that you get from that meat there. You put a pound of ground beef and a quarter cup of flour. And then we also want to put in chili powder, which is a tablespoon. Lid is loose there. So we have a tablespoon of chili powder. We have a teaspoon of salt. About a tablespoon of minced onions. We like onions, so if we get more than a tablespoon, I'm not sad. Half a teaspoon of paprika. Quarter teaspoon of onion powder. And then a dash of garlic powder. And then again, we love garlic, so if we get more than a dash, it doesn't bother me a bit. So you're going to mix this up. The flour is what gives it that texture that Taco Bell meat has. Kind of like a, it's hard to describe, but when it cooks up, it doesn't stay in clumps as badly with the flour as if you didn't have the flour. So we mix it up pretty good, and then we're going to put it in a pan. Let me wash my hands. All right, and then we're going to add a half a cup of water. Again, this is about the consistency as it cooks. I cook it on medium. And I love this little gadget. If you've never seen those before, this is a Pampered Chef one. They're relatively inexpensive. I think they're less than $10. I've seen these at the grocery store that are not Pampered Chef brand, so again, the water is just kind of gives it the special consistency that what you would see at the Taco Bell store or Taco Bell restaurant. I fry it until it is thoroughly clean or thoroughly non-pink, so we want to make sure that there's no uncooked meat. This is my go-to recipe for taco meat. Most of the time we eat tacos with it, but you know, you can do tostados and taco salads. It is really good leftover, and it is very good frozen. Sometimes I'll make some ahead of time, and I store them in. I have containers that I keep in my freezer just for warming up. as it's starting to warm up, the water will start to absorb into the meat more. So you just keep stirring and chomping. Usually once the water has absorbed, which is about now, I don't generally stir it anymore until I hear some. So it is starting to sizzle a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of move it around again. I would have to say generally this will probably take about 10 minutes. So to me it's like a perfect quick meal if you have hamburger out. Most of the ingredients that are in it are mostly staples that most people have in their pantry, especially if you are a home cook. It is starting to brown up. I have made this recipe with ground turkey. I've used the typical 85-15 ground turkey, and I've also used the very lean turkey. If you're like on Weight Watchers, the ground turkey is very low, if not free in points. That the very lean stuff. And I have made it with that, and yes, it is still delicious. The consistency is a little bit drier because there's not a whole lot of fat in the ground turkey, but it still has that wonderful taste, and it helps you forget that you're on a diet. So it is good with ground turkey. I have not tried it with any other ground meat besides ground beef and ground turkey. If anybody has tried it because they don't eat ground beef or ground turkey, let me know how it turns out. So as you can see, it's starting to brown up. Still some pink spots here or there, but you can see the consistency of it. I mean, it's exactly what you would expect if you went to Taco Bell and looked into their meat bowl. If you left the flour and water out, if you've ever browned ground beef, you know, it's I don't know the word, stiffer, kind of drier type of consistency. So this helps it kind of stay together and be more like, I don't want to use the word globby, but it's kind of like the consistency. It's almost done. As you can see, it did not take that long. I cook in all cast iron, so I would have to say just be careful, don't let it stick to the bottom. It will stick to the bottom if you let it sit too long, as you can see. But with cast iron, it's really easy to clean up. You just put a little bit of water in the sink. I don't know how it would do in a stainless steel pan or a non-stick pan, but I only do cast iron. Got hooked on it many years ago. Alright, so there you see. All done, and you can kind of see the consistency. If you use a leaner meat, you will not have a lot of grease. If you can see, there is a little bit in there, but it's not too bad. This is an 80-20 blend. Alright, so it is ready for done. So I will be putting on more videos with homemade copycat type things or just homemade. I'm an avid gardener and an avid canner. So every once in a while I might throw something in there too. So if you want to follow me in my journey to my garden, right now it is in the dead of winter in Ohio. So there is no garden. But it is in the planning stage, which is all in my head right now. I'm always excited to think about what's going to be planted next year. I'm also an on again, off again Weight Watcher member. So I will hope to put some Weight Watcher recipes that I have tried and taste very good in the future. So I'm hoping that you'll come back and subscribe. All right, thank you.